Hi there, this is Matt with State of Flux, here to do a much belated discussion about the Oscar contenders for 2024 and 2025 Oscar season. Before I do that, I want to talk about the movies of 2024 in general. I think 2024 was a sort of lackluster year. I think it's easily the worst year of the decade thus far, and the ramifications of the writer's strike seemed incredibly obvious and noticeable. You had mostly good films, I think, along the way, but this year had the most bad movies that I'd seen since like 2021. But 2021 also had a huge selection of very, very good films, which this Oscar season doesn't really have. I think the Oscars themselves have highlighted a lot of the best ones, and it's not lost on me that it's like the same 5 or 6 movies that seem to be nominated in virtually every category, because there really wasn't an awful lot of genuine excellence out there. Now, I'm going to give you my thoughts on all of the nominees, and you can jump to where you'd like. I'll put in the description area below like little time stops and whatnot. But I'm going to give you not only the films that I think are nominated, but what I think may have been overlooked, because I do think there is quite a few performances especially that didn't get acknowledged the way I would have liked. But the year in general is pretty meh. So that's where I stand. For Best Picture, let's get into it. The Best Picture nominees are Anora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune, Part 2, Emilia, Perez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, and Wicked. At the time of this recording, I've seen 5 of the nominees. I think the 5 that I've seen are all good films worthy of nomination, including, yes, Emilia Perez, which I did a review for, and I think I'm going to do a follow-up review, because I did rewatch it and I have quite a bit more thoughts. So I'm going to do like an Emilia Perez 2.0 review coming up. But I'm not going to give you what I think should have been in the Best Picture contention, some overlooked films, because on Oscar Sunday, I will give you my list of the 5 best movies of the year, along with who I think is going to win in every category. So I will hold off on that for right now. Moving on to Best Director, we have Sean Baker for Anora. We have Brady Corbet for The Brutalist. We have James Mangold for Complete Unknown, Jacques Audiard for Emilia Perez, and Coralie Fargeat for The Substance. I think overlooked in this category is John M. Chu for Wicked. I will show my cards right now. I do think Wicked is the best movie of the year, and the fact that he isn't acknowledged is just genuinely sad for me, because he did a great job, especially with the visuals and pulling the story together and apart, and excellent work, sir. Another person of note is Jason Reitman for Saturday Night. I think that film was a return to form for him, the likes of which we hadn't seen since he'd done Up in the Air. I loved that movie, and I will probably do a small-scale review of Saturday Night at some point in the near future. Also missing from this list is Denis Villeneuve. He was a great director of Dune Part 2, which is a film that I think is infinitely better than the first movie, and yet again does not get highlighted for the direction. Moving on to Best Actor, we have Adrien Brody for The Brutalist, Timothée Chalamet for A Complete Unknown, Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing, Ralph Fiennes for Conclave, and Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice. These are all fine actors, fine performances based on the ones that I have seen. I would like to see Ralph Fiennes win this, because he's never won, and he is fantastic in a very understated performance, but it's the understated nature of that performance. I don't think he will win. That said, there were 3 actors that I think have gone overlooked. One is Isaac Wang for Didi. Didi is a great movie. It acts as a solid sister film to like 8th grade. They don't even take place in the same decade, but tonally they capture that. And his performance is incredibly brave and fantastic. Absolutely a fantastic performance, and he didn't get much love this award season. Also getting virtually no love this award season is Jesse Eisenberg for A Real Pain, and sure, he is nominated for screenwriting this season, but his performance is every bit as good as Kieran Culkin's, and I think Kieran Culkin's performance is as good as it is because of how he reacts to Jesse Eisenberg. It's a tandem performance, and the fact that he's being overlooked while Kieran Culkin is being elevated is kind of mystifying to me. They both give award-worthy performance, and I think that either doesn't work without the other. Eisenberg should be nominated here, in my opinion, but the big missing one is Mike Faced for Challengers. He is incredible in that movie, and I just can't believe he didn't get a nomination for it. I just can't. And the fact that that film went with a big old goose egg this Oscar season, baffling. Straight up baffling. Alright, moving on to Best Actress. We have Cynthia Erivo for Wicked, Karla Sofia Gascon for Emilia, Perez. Kinda. She did withdraw, basically, from contention. We have Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here, Mikey Madison for Anora, and Demi Moore for The Substance. Overlooked here, I think, are Kirsten Dunst in Civil War, who gave an incredible performance in that, the best performance she gave since Power of the Dog. Zendaya for Challengers. She was my favorite leading actress performance of the year. She is incredible in that movie, and I cannot believe she didn't get nominated. But then Naomi Scott gives an incredible performance, and traditionally the Oscars don't give horror genre much love. They gave The Substance quite a bit of it this year, but I think that they really failed Naomi Scott, who gives one of the best performances of last year. I think if I were to grade them, one of my top 3 favorite performances of the year, full stop. But alas, let's move on to Best Supporting Actor. We have Yura Borisov for Anora, Kieran Culkin for A Real Pain, Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce for The Brutalist, and Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice. Missing here, I think, is Nicolas Cage for Longlegs. That performance didn't gel with everybody. It really worked with me, though. And then Pedro Pascal for Gladiator 2 is kind of the only reason to watch Gladiator 2. Best Supporting Actress, we have Monica Barbaro for A Complete Unknown, Ariana Grande for Wicked, which I think is the best performance of the year between any performer. Felicity Jones, The Brutalist, Isabella Rossellini for Conclave, and Zoe Saldana for Emilia, Perez. Missing here is Zendaya, again, this time for Dune Part 2. I think she gave the best performance in that movie as well. This was really Zendaya's year, in my opinion, and she didn't get a nomination for either performance. Also missing is Margaret Qualley for The Substance. She's great. Just great in that movie. Absolutely great. Talk about a brave performance. Her and Demi Moore. Holy shit. Alright, moving on to Best Original Screenplay, we have Anora, The Brutalist, A Real Pain, September 5, and The Substance. Missing, I think, is Juror Number 2, which was one of my favorite movies from last year that also got completely overlooked, but I kind of know why. Warner Brothers buried that movie, so that's why it's missing here. However, that screenplay is pretty tight. I really liked it. Also missing is the screenplay for Saturday Night. Great screenplay, I think. I know some people kind of ding it for being a bad examination of historical accuracy, but where it lacks historical accuracy, I think it makes up for an emotional truth to people who have reverence for Saturday Night Live. But there you have. Writing, adapted screenplay, we have A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Emilia, Perez, Nickel Boys, and Sing Sing. I think missing here is Wicked. Best Animated Feature, we have Flow, Inside Out 2, Memoir of a Snail, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, and The Wild Robot. I have not seen The Wild Robot. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm hoping to get to that one shortly. Moving on to production design, we have The Brutalist, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Nosferatu, and Wicked. It's not lost on me that Dune Part 2 seems to only be picking up production kind of technical Oscar achievements, which is strange because I think this film deserves the more elevated ones, the direction, the acting from several of the performers, and yet it doesn't get those. I feel like this should have been kind of flopped with Dune Part 1, where that movie really only, I think, is good technically. I think this one is a good movie overall. But moving on to costume design, we have A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Gladiator 2, Nosferatu, and Wicked. Beetlejuice, I think, is missing from that list. The costuming is fantastic, and you're going to hear me sing the praises of the technical achievements of Beetlejuice over the next few awards here. Cinematography, we have The Brutalist, Dune Part 2, Emilia, Perez, Maria, and Nosferatu. Missing is Longlegs. I think Longlegs is the best looking movie of last year, and didn't get highlighted for it. Pretty disappointing. Film editing, we have Anora, The Brutalist, Conclave, Emilia, Perez, and Wicked. Missing, I think, is Challengers. Challengers had great editing and use of camera work in how the film zigs and zags, constantly being edited and filmed as if it's a tennis match, even during conversations. That was brilliant. Also missing is The Substance. I really liked how that movie was edited. I know it was a little too busy for some people, but it really, really worked for me. Makeup and hairstyling, we have A Different Man, Emilia, Perez, Nosferatu, The Substance, Wicked, and I think missing is Beetlejuice. That, how did you not nominate that? Like, that has great makeup work. Just don't understand it. Best sound, we have Complete Unknown, Dune Part 2, Emilia, Perez, Wicked, and The Wild Robot. Not much to say there. Visual effects. This one I have some thoughts on, actually. Alien Romulus, Better Man, Dune Part 2, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and Wicked. I think missing also is the practical effects wizardry of Beetlejuice. Alien Romulus, I have thoughts on, because in fact, most respects, I do think that movie highlights incredible technical wizardry to make it work. And the amount of practical effects and use of digital when necessary is great. That said, Alien Romulus is the worst film nominated this entire Oscar season, I think, without question. And I don't want to highlight something like that along the lines of, say, Suicide Squad, and maybe have it even win, in which case it will be the worst Oscar winner of 2025, full stop. And that's a shame. I also think it's a little questionable because the version of the film most readily available to Oscar voters through digital means on Disney Plus or on physical media is a touched up version where they cleaned up the special effects, particularly with the digital Ian Holm. And I think that also is kind of a bit bastardized way of winning that award, because that's not the original version of it. Yes, they just touched it up and it's essentially the same, but I also don't think that's entirely fair because they went through after their deadline to fix that, and so I struggle with it. I think it's also strange that we have two ape movies going against each other with Better Man and Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I'm really hoping Kingdom wins, but there you go. Music, Best Original Song. Oof, there was a lot of complaints about the music in Emilia, Perez. I will say that I liked the music in Emilia, Perez. When I stopped that movie the very first time, I added about 4 of the songs straight into my, playlist rotation, and 2 of them are nominated. So I'm not all that butthurt about it, but yeah. So anyway, the songs nominated for original song are El Mal from Emilia, Perez, The Journey from the 688, Like a Bird from Sing Sing, Mi Camino from Emilia, Perez, and Never Too Late from Elton John, Never Too Late. I think that the 2 best songs from last year are both missing, and they're from movies that were either flops or people just didn't even see or know about. And that would be Electric Energy from Argyle, That song slaps. Like, it's so fun and so vibrant, and the music video, excellent. Check it out. Maybe I'll even link it down below. Also, the best song of last year is from Bear McCreary, which is 24 Karat Case of Love for Kevin Smith's The 4:30 movie. 24 Karat Case of Love is a phenomenal song. It purely taps into that 80s kind of love ballad meets pop rock of its era, so believably so that you're convinced you're actually listening to an old song, were it not for the fact that it is fueled by the same melody of the score throughout the entirety of the film. Holy crap, that song is great, and it's a shame that's not recognized. But you're recognized here, Bear McCreary and Kevin Smith. That song, A+. Alright, music, best original score. I also have some feelings on this one. We have The Brutalist, Conclave, Emilia, Perez, Wicked, and Wild Robot. Wicked is my favorite movie of the year. But I feel like Wicked should not be allowed in this category for best original score because the score is kind of a melodic version of just the songs within the film. And that I really bump into because especially the Academy took out Dune Part 2 and made it ineligible because there wasn't enough music in that film that they claim was original. Most of it was lifted from the previous film and inserted into this, just in slightly different arrangements. How does that get excluded, but then Wicked make it? That's baffling to me. However, none of these scores are anywhere as good as the truly best score of last year, which is Challengers. Challengers had the best score of last year, full stop. Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor just nailed it with that score, and that is one of the best scores of the past several years. And I can't believe that didn't get nominated. Moving on to Best Documentary Feature Film, we have Black Box Diaries, No Other Land, Porcelain War, Soundtrack to a Coup d'etat, and Sugarcane. What is missing is The Remarkable Life of Ibelin, which is available on Netflix, and I did a review for it. I think you should check it out. It's a great film and sadly overlooked. Also missing is Superman, the Christopher Reeve story, which I thought was one of the 10 best movies of last year. International feature film, we have I'm Still Here from Brazil, The Girl with the Needle from Denmark, Emilia Perez from France, The Seed of the Sacred Fig from Germany, and Flow from Latvia. Latvia got 2 nominations this year with Flow, and I think it's the first time they've ever been nominated for anything, so go them. Animated short film, we have A Beautiful Man, In the Shadow of the Cypress, Magic Candies, Wander to Wonder, and Yuck. This is the only category where I don't think I'm going to get a chance to see any of these films. I'm trying to see literally everything that's nominated, but the only way to see any of those 5 is through a theatrical market, and I don't have the time to do so. So I will sadly not have any skin in that game. Moving on to the documentary short film, I was able to see all of these, and I can tell you one of them is definitely better than the others. And that would be Incident. The full list of nominees are Incident, Death by Numbers, I'm Ready, Warden, Instruments of a Beating Heart, and The Only Girl in the Orchestra. All films are very good, but Incident is disgusting, hard to watch, but nevertheless compelling and relevant. And then last but not least, we have live action short film Anuja, I Am Not a Robot, which seems to have been recently remade into Companion. I'm saying that facetiously, but Companion seems to have the exact same plot of this story. The Last Ranger, Alien, and The Man Who Could Not Remain Silent. I will say that Alien is the best piece of media put out in 2024, in my opinion. Of anything nominated, that is the best. It's like 15 to 20 minutes long. It is the most relevant thing to the Oscars currently, to our year. Performance, editing, everything about that is top notch. And if that doesn't win, I'm going to be so upset. But that said, that's your Oscars. Do you have any things in this film, or in this slate of films that you're really rooting for, you really want to win? As of right now, I would like Wicked to win. I would love Ariana Grande to win, but I need a Leanne to win. And is there anything that you thought got just like overtly snubbed? I want to hear about it in the comment area down below. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and peace.